Good evening, Representative Langevin. My name is Gian Cardillo. I'm from Cranston, and I'm a stay-at-home caretaker for my uncle who has spinal stenosis. I wanted to briefly touch back on the NSA subject again.
Sure.
It's slightly dumbed down, but just simplified. But in Section 502 of FISA, it compels the Attorney General to inform the Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence in the House of all orders granted by Section 215 to produce information in an investigation. However, as of late, it's been shown that the program that has been in such contention in the media and the American people's eyes, they've been doing what they can to subvert that and try to do what they can to not inform you of what they were doing. And it was blatantly obvious that Director Clapper had lied to Congress on television. We had all seen it. Is there a reason he's not been held accountable for lying to Congress under oath?
So I would say this. Part of the challenge, I don't want to defend Director Clapper and how he answered the question. At the time, of course, here's the problem. You have a classified program, and he's asked a question about a classified program in an open session. And he was not authorized, ostensibly yet, to talk about the classified program in public. And he gave the answer that he did, and now that's part of the answer. The other part of the answer was he was saying that he thought he was referring to Section 215 and not he was talking about, I think, Section 702, not 215 at the time he answered the question. But be that as it may, he could have come up with a better answer, and as soon as the hearing was over, both his staff and then later he clarified the answer to Senator White. But aside from that, let me talk about what I know about the program. Now, we can agree to disagree on whether the program should exist or not, but I will say this: I've been read in on these programs for years, and so I would disagree with the issue that Congress hasn't exercised oversight of the programs, because we have been kept fully and accurately informed of how the programs are operating. And I have been satisfied that the programs have had both congressional, executive, and judicial oversight. If you've been, obviously you're clearly informed and you've been watching the debates of all of these things, there has not yet been a single case where something has come up where it shows that the powers and authorities have been abused, or that someone has again gone outside of the law or the Constitution. Now, there are people that are not comfortable with the amount of surveillance that's going on, and that's a healthy debate for us to be having. And where we can more finely narrow or fine-tune these programs, we should do it. And I'm open to hearing how we do that. But I can, from my vantage point, where I, again, sitting on both the Armed Services Committee and the Intelligence Committee, everything that I have seen and heard and asked tough questions about whether these programs are operating effectively or appropriately or not, the oversight has been exercised. The NSA has not gone outside their lane in terms of what they were supposed to be doing, and I think it's a one of the good things that has come out of this is that it's brought transparency, and the administration has declassified a lot of aspects of the program, and the more that they can declassify, they should. But I will say, I'll stop here, and then if you want to do a follow-up, I'll let you do that. I know that these programs have been directly effective in thwarting and derailing 54 terrorist attacks internationally, and 12 of which have been directly prevented from happening on U.S. soil.
If that is the case, and most of this has been declassified, and those have already happened and have been stopped, would it not help to make the American people more comfortable in the fact of knowing that this program exists and what it's done to make that information public, so we know that it's actually doing what it's supposed to do?
Sure, and that's what congressional hearings are going to do, and the oversight that we're going to adhere adhere to going forward. So I know that the intelligence committees, as well as the judiciary committees and the armed services committees, I'm going to be having thorough and as transparent hearings as possible on these things. But I'll just say this, that look, classified information and classified programs are going to continue for a reason. They have to exist for a reason. Just understand that the trade-off is every time we make something like what we're talking about, then it gives our enemies transparency into these things as well. So as we're making these classified programs more and more transparent, now our adversaries know, for example, so I see, so the way that they're tracking us, the bad guys are saying the way that they're tracking us is anytime that they use their cell phone in, say, in Yemen or in Afghanistan to coordinate or plot with someone in a foreign country, or in particular in the United States, they're doing it by seeing who we're talking to. And then they go up on if it's somewhere, for example, in the United States, someone, let's say hypothetically, we could have known about the attackers of 9/11 and who they were coordinating with and planning with in the United States. Had we known about that, that program could have been derailed, but we didn't know about it. Now they can say, well, they're going to alter their tradecraft. Okay, so the may very well, maybe not everybody, maybe some of them will think they'll get lucky and they'll be able to talk to and plan with whoever they want in the United States or in some other country. But they know how we have the capability of tracking them. So what they will do is they're going to use another method, form of communication that we may not have insight into, that we may not be able to follow. That's the trade-off. So we're going to have transparency. We're going to give as much transparency into these programs as possible. But it doesn't mean that we're also at the same time allowing our enemies to know exactly how we're tracking them as well.